Cold cases or unsolved mysteries that torment investigators and capture the public's fascination can take unexpected twists when they are least anticipated. These 5 cold cases were ultimately cracked with bizarre twists that left everyone startled, ranging from long-forgotten atrocities to seemingly impenetrable enigmas. Let's go into the specifics of these mind-boggling findings. Virginia Hannon's 1984 case. Virginia Hannon, 59, led a simple and gentle life in a quiet Pembroke, Massachusetts neighborhood. She was recognized for her decades-long work as the lunch lady at a local elementary school. Her kindness, especially to youngsters and stray animals, had won her friends in the town. Virginia's tranquility was disturbed by a horrific house invasion that cost her life in 1984, sending shockwaves across the neighborhood. Virginia's charming yellow cottage became a symbol of goodwill when she lived alone for 13 years after her husband died. Her daily routine included giving drinks, cookies, and baked goods to neighborhood children and caring for stray animals. Virginia had retired early after inheriting $380,000 from her aunt in California, which she readily admitted to others. Virginia went to church with her friend Dolly Harmouth on the evening of February 11, 1984. They dined at their customary place after evening service, before Dolly dropped Virginia off at home about 7:30 p.m. Virginia, who had emphysema, struggled to ascend the stairs, but nothing appeared to be wrong at the time. Virginia's disappearance caused anxiety in the neighborhood the next day. On February 13th, her stepfather's housekeeper, unable to contact her, paid a visit to Virginia's home. Virginia had been assaulted and murdered in her bed. Evidence of tampering with the front door and a missing $100 from Virginia's wallet suggested a break-in, raising suspicions of a robbery. The case remained unresolved for 37 years until 2021, when forensic technology led to a breakthrough. The DNA evidence acquired at the crime scene was retested, and it turned out to be a match for Jesse Allywood, a 58-year-old man who confessed to a friend before his death in 2020. Jesse, who was 22 at the time of Virginia's death, had no known relationship to her, underscoring the crime's seeming randomness. Virginia's nephew, Richard Hannon, and his wife thanked the police for their tireless efforts in solving the case. Virginia Hannon's death shows the importance of forensic science in solving cold cases and providing closure to victims' families after decades of uncertainty. Janet Brochu's unsolved mystery. The strange disappearance of 20-year-old Janet Brochu caused shockwaves across the neighborhood in 1987 when she left a local pub with a guy she had just met. The finding of her remains 3 months later further added to the mystery surrounding her death. For more than 3 decades, the case remained unresolved, casting a long shadow over Janet's family and keeping them in the dark. In the year 2021, a watershed moment occurred when newly discovered evidence resurrected the long-dormant probe. This vital discovery resulted in the arrest of Gerald Goodall, who was already in prison for another murder conviction. The link between Gerald and Janet's cases, which had previously been cloaked in mystery, became apparent thanks to advances in forensic technology that were not accessible at the time of the first inquiry. Janet Brochu's disappearance occurred on a night when she left a neighborhood pub with a man she had recently met. The finding of her remains 3 months later further added to the mystery surrounding her death. For more than 3 decades, the case remained unresolved, casting a long shadow over Janet's family and keeping them in the dark. Gerald Goodall, the newest suspect, was doing time for another unrelated murder when the connection to Janet's case was discovered using cutting-edge forensic procedures. Forensic technology improvements were critical in bringing the closure that had escaped Janet's family for so many years. Gerald Goodall's arrest in 2021 represented a bittersweet win for justice, finally providing light on the circumstances behind Janet Brochu's terrible death. The long-awaited answers offered Janet's family relief, demonstrating the significant influence that contemporary forensic procedures may have in unraveling cold cases and providing justice, even after several decades. Leola Jordan's cold case. In the year 2021, a long-standing mystery regarding the terrible homicide of Leola Jordan in 1998 was successfully solved in Picayune, Mississippi. Leola's case remained unsolved for nearly 2 decades, plaguing her family and the town. However, a big breakthrough occurred when advances in genetic testing technology enabled the study of DNA evidence taken at the murder scene. Leola Jordan's awful fate occurred in 1998, a year that forever changed her family's lives owing to the horrible nature of her murder. The case had been buried in darkness for 20 years until the long-neglected DNA evidence was brought to comprehensive examination in 2021. This critical step enabled authorities to identify and catch the offender, who happened to be Leola's own grandson, Sergio A. Williams. Sergio's involvement in his grandmother's death shocked the neighborhood, leaving the family reeling from the unfathomable treachery. The arrest of a family member adds another layer of complications to an already unhappy story. The complicated jigsaw that had defied resolution for 2 decades began to take form, providing Leola's bereaved family with the closure they had long craved. The eventual closure of Leola Jordan's cold case was not a fluke, but rather a monument to the perseverance of law enforcement officers in their pursuit of justice. Genetic testing improvements played a critical role in connecting the connections that had previously remained elusive. The significance of these breakthroughs extended beyond the resolution of a particular case. They emphasized the need to remain attentive and utilize cutting-edge methods to offer closure to families who had suffered the agony of unresolved mysteries. Finally, the resolution of Leola Jordan's case in 2021 serves as a beacon of hope for other communities dealing with cold cases, demonstrating the transformative power of advances in forensic technology and the unwavering commitment of law enforcement personnel in their never-ending pursuit of justice. In March 2021, Pecos Jane Doe was identified. The mystery death of a lady discovered drowned in a hotel pool in 1966 went unexplained for decades, giving her the moniker Pecos Jane Doe. It wasn't until 2021 that the use of genetic genealogy became a crucial element in determining her identity, revealing her to be Jolene Hemi. Jolene's family had been searching for information about her whereabouts since her abduction, and the discovery of her fate gave long-awaited closure, albeit tempered with the understanding that she had most likely been the victim of criminal play. The mystery surrounding the Pecos Jane Doe persisted for years, casting a shadow on the circumstances of her death. The pieces of the puzzle didn't fall into place until the year 2021, thanks to advances in genetic genealogy. The use of cutting-edge technology in DNA analysis aided in the positive identification of the lady as Jolene Hemi, providing light on a case that had previously gone unresolved. Jolene Hemi's family has finally received answers after being tortured by her absence for decades. The discovery of her identity not only put an end to the mystery surrounding the Pecos Jane Doe, but it also raised the likelihood that Jolene died terribly, maybe as a consequence of foul play. The bittersweet character of closure underlined the family's long-standing uncertainty while providing them with the much-desired truth. The importance of genetic genealogy in this story emphasizes the transforming influence of scientific advances on cold cases, providing a ray of hope for closure, even in instances that have perplexed investigators for years. Jolene Hemi's identification is a tragic illustration of how technology can bridge the gap in unresolved cases, offering peace to mourning families, and, in this case, exposing a narrative of loss and suffering that had been concealed for decades. Decades later, Edward Surratt makes a confession. Edward Surratt, a convicted serial murderer, made dramatic admissions to a string of killings in the late 1970s. However, legal repercussions only occurred in one case. In 2021, Surratt, allegedly unprompted, revealed material that shed light on other victims. However, law enforcement now confronts enormous obstacles in bringing additional accusations against him, owing principally to the expensive expense and logistical complexity connected with extraditing him for trial. Surratt's confessions have uncovered a troubling chapter in criminal history, exposing a trail of horrible deeds that had hitherto gone unnoticed. Surratt has previously avoided complete accountability, avoiding judicial implications for the majority of his alleged offenses, despite being tied to many crimes. The unexpected nature of his admissions in 2021 has refocused attention on his dark background, requiring a rethinking of the scope of his illegal deeds. The battle to bring Surratt to justice underscores the complex obstacles that law enforcement organizations face. Extradition costs and logistical challenges have surfaced as significant impediments to pursuing legal action against him for the additional offenses he acknowledged committing. This portion of the story highlights the logistical challenges that frequently accompany efforts to prosecute people engaged in cold cases, even when they willingly admit their crimes. These instances, distinguished by Surratt's admissions and the consequent difficulties in obtaining justice, are a moving witness to the transformational power of forensic advances and the unflinching determination of investigators. Technology-enabled advancements and the perseverance of law enforcement have revealed riddles that have remained in communities for decades. The late completion of these cases not only brings closure to the victims' families, but also emphasizes the need for patience and inventiveness in the quest for justice. What untold stories are still lying dormant, waiting for the key to unveil their secrets while we ponder these solved mysteries? Well, that's it for today. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you at the next one.